Hey, it's me. It's 1:30 and we are off on day 56. Wow. Honestly, time is really flying. I don't know how it's going for you, but if it's not flying, maybe you've got some things that we can adjust to help you get through, and that's what today is all about. I call it Get Through the Day with PMA. Now, what is PMA? It is a positive mental attitude. Now, I don't live in that place 100% of the time. I would like to. I get knocked down just like anyone else. But I do know this: the more we work to keep our attitude positive, the better our day goes, the happier we are in the end. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are going to come out the other side of this. And when we do, we don't want to look back and say, what a waste of time. We want to look back and say, boy, that was an interesting adventure, didn't you? You know, it's funny. One of the things that I was not blessed with is a sense of direction. So if I have a map or my GPS, I can go just about anywhere, but a sense of direction, not so much. Every hill kind of looks the same. Every corner kind of looks the same. You know, that's what it's like for me. In fact, when I was serving a church in Virginia, my administrative assistant and I would go off to do chores during the day. We'd do errands, and we called it going on an adventure because we weren't sure where we were going or how we'd get there, but it always turned out okay. So maybe if we had a little attitude adjustment and saw this as an adventure, not a challenge, we'll keep that positive mental attitude a little bit. Now, you know, I've said it before about how thoughts are like links in a chain. So one thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought. You know, in the movie A Christmas Carol, when Marley is all weighted down with chains, imagine that. You couldn't see them in your life, like Scrooge could not see those chains, but he said, your chain is, you know, long as mine and 7 years more for the time since I passed away. But we do get weighted down like links to a chain, and we want to break them. Now, if you want a really good example of how that works, I'm going to share a little story with you. This story hung on my refrigerator for so many years. It eventually, you know, got all destroyed and wet from humidity in the kitchen and splashed on and everything. But it's one of my favorites, and I want to share it with you today. There is a movie out of it. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen good and bad reviews. But I may watch it because it could be a good thing. Oh, by the way, what did I say? Today is Alicia's Don't Do Anything I Don't Want to Do day, and it's Jammy Day, and I want to show you I have my Mickey Mouse pajamas on. Yay! Oh, I so recommend doing this once in a while. Just have yourself a merry little jammy day. So, this story that I'd like to share, I may or may not finish the whole thing because it's rather long, but I think you'll get the point as I read it. And you can find it online if I don't finish it. And it is called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. It says, I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. He was setting himself up already. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray in his car kit in his breakfast cereal box. Nick found a junior undercover agent cold ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. Sometimes we think we can run away from our negative attitude. Unfortunately, wherever we go, there it is. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have the seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window, too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Well, the story goes on, and his horrible day that he goes through, and it took him all the way through the end of the day. And I do so encourage you to read this because it's such a cute story. It says, it was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he told me I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom said, some days are like that, even in Australia. Yeah, we can't run away from our stuff. We got to deal with it wherever we are. Have you had one of those very bad days? You know, honestly, I remember hearing my mom say it, and I remember saying it myself. It's gonna be one of those days. Ooh, that's not the affirmation we want to start our day with, is it? Not if we're going to keep a positive mental attitude. Now, one of those things that helps us keep a positive mental attitude is our, what day is it? Did you know today is Odometer Day? Now, I had to look that up. Odometer Day is the day we learn about odometers. How do you like that? And then it is also, it is National Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. I have a friend that suffers, I have two friends that suffer from fibromyalgia, and they've gone through it for years and years, and the hard part is the less people know about it, the more people with the condition are judged as lazy, as not caring. I mean, it is not a good thing. So it's awareness of that. So you might want to look something up on that. It is also Nutty Fudge Day. Guess who's making Nutty Fudge? Now, it's going to be an adventure, and you'll have to tune in tomorrow to see how it turns out, because it calls basically for a 12-ounce package of chocolate chips, which I don't have, and it also calls for a can of condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, which I have, and some vanilla, which I have. And it's called 3-Minute Fudge, and you make it in the microwave, which I haven't ever done. But what are adventures for? If I don't get fudge out of it, maybe I'll get some really great ice cream topping. Then I'll have to get some ice cream, but oh well, worse things have happened in my life. And then it is also National Limerick Day. Now that gave me a little bit of a challenge, because the only limericks I'm personally familiar with, I haven't looked at in decades. Well, I haven't thought about that. They were mostly kind of bawdy. So, but a limerick is 5 lines. It's a 5 line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a 6-line kind of rhymish thing. 3 long lines, 2 short lines. That makes it 5. Whatever. So I wrote one, okay? Gotta celebrate National Limerick Day if I expect to, celebrate Nutty Fudge Day. And Nutty Fudge Day, by the way, I got a bunch of pecans and some walnuts. I even have some coconut. I may go nuts with this stuff. You'll have to find out tomorrow how it turned out. Okay, this is my limerick for National Limerick Day. Although I am locked up at home, and it may look that I'm all alone, but what you can't see is how great it can be to visit with you through my phone. Ta-da! Now how's that for a positive mental attitude? You can have one too. Why don't you try to write yourself a little limerick? Make it bawdy if you want, but I don't want to hear it. Okay. So what's challenging you today? Is there anything that you're saying, how could she talk about a positive, mental attitude on a day like today? And because Lord knows there is plenty of negative news out there, and plenty of reasons to get crabby. But I'd like you to spend some time today thinking about what it is that is challenging you today, what you feel is affecting you and maybe directing you to be crabby or unhappy or sad or depressed, because that thing that you are experiencing is the lesson that life is trying to teach you. It's a lesson. So yours is to figure out what is that lesson. Probably one of the most frustrating things to me is my hair, because it's just getting so crazy, and I know better than to cut it. I know this. So what you want to do is, as you go through this thing that's challenging you, is say, well, I know what I can't do about it. If you got a relationship problem, you can't make someone think about you in a different way than they do. You can only be the best person you are, and if they respond, fine. And when I say best person, I mean who you generally are. Be comfortable in your own skin. Doesn't matter what size it is, what color it is, even if it's got age spots, which I'm learning to deal with. Love yourself as you are. And if they don't love you as you are, they're not worth consideration. Okay. Focus on what you can do. Think about, I can't do this, but I can do this. With the recipe for fudge, that I don't know how it's going to come out, I know I can't make it with chocolate chips because I don't have any. But I do know I've got some chocolate bars in the drawer. They're my little stash. And I have some bittersweet, baking chocolate in my drawer. And I've got different things I can crush up, stir in there, and see what happens. Either I'll have fudge or I'll have fudge sauce. We shall see. Don't be afraid to try. If I can't do this, see, what you want to do is you want to learn to be a possibility thinker. Instead of seeing things come up and go, oh, there's nothing I can do about this. Excuse me, ask yourself, well, what can I do? What can I do about it? What can I do to make it better? If I can't do that, do I have to try something entirely different? If this person's not interested in me, can I open my mind and receive someone new and let go of that person? If my finances are a challenge, can I find ways to cut corners? Can I trim down? Can I stretch what I've got? Just be a possibility thinker. How do you do that? PMA. Have a positive mental attitude. you may not realize, I think a lot of people don't realize how powerful they are. One day when I was in seminary, a woman came in, average, typical Susie Homemaker woman. She talked about how she had heard about how in Peru, in this particular area in Peru, the infant mortality rate was extremely high. And the reason it was so high is way up there at that altitude, the blankets and diapers and things wouldn't completely dry. And they didn't have any dryers and limited electricity. And the woman felt so bad, and she said, geez, there's nothing I can do. Now, back then, I would like to note, the internet had not started yet. So she had to do different kinds of research, but she researched and found out what the area did have to work with. And now think about what this would cost. She bought 2 dryers and had them shipped to Peru and delivered to the village. She did it by having bake sales, yard sales, picking up some side jobs. All that was on her mind was the outcome she wanted, that mothers would not lose their babies, and that babies would not lose their lives, and their clothes could be dry. And she learned afterward that when the dryers arrived, all the people from the village went down to where they were delivered, and they had a parade bringing these dryers up to the village where they did have the power to hook them up and everything. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine doing a life-changing thing with yard sales and bake sales and a couple of side jobs? Maybe that's not your gig, but something else. We can all do something wonderful to help get through this. We might feel like we're only I'm only one person, what can I do? But one of my favorite inspirations is from Canon Farrar, and it said, I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, through the grace of God, I will do. You can't do everything. I can't do everything. But together, we can do amazing things. So you may think you're only one, but you're not. You're one with God, and you're one with each other. You're one with divine mind that is the limitless source of all divine ideas. So today, how will you keep that positive mental attitude? I have a few self-care tips I picked up that I wanted to share. They're how to take care of yourself in difficult times. And it said that you should learn to practice meditation. Now, I'm not talking about long hours of woo-woo, talking about getting grounded for a moment, letting go of your busy thoughts. How? 3 deep cleansing breaths, and that'll start to clear you so you can relax. Remember the 5 steps to prayer we talked about: relaxation, concentration, meditation, realization, and thanksgiving. Preoccupy yourself with hobbies. I'm working on that puzzle. Can't wait till I show it to you. I think it'll maybe be done by Sunday. Take media breaks. Stay informed, but don't get overwhelmed. Just turn it off. Set healthy limits and boundaries, and give yourself me time. If you can get out there and spend some time in nature, that is so healing. Spend time alone. Maybe it's in the bathroom, Take a bath, hide out in the shower, do whatever you need to do. And then, this is very important, treat other people's problems as theirs, not yours. I know I'm an empath, and it's really, really hard because I worry about everybody's problems, but they're really not my problems because I can't learn the lessons for other people, and nobody else can learn the lessons for you. Be open to suggestions. Keep an open mind. Just never make your mind so open that your brain falls out. Last of all, limit physical contact. Although we may be, inundated with people around and everything, sometimes you need to just make that space and find your peace on your own. And so I would like to also suggest you make yourself an attitude adjustment hour, what was called happy hour. And my happy hour, as anyone who knows me knows, it's my afternoon, crackers and cheese and a glass of wine, relaxation, and it's wonderful. Now, if you don't drink, I'm not suggesting you start. If you have a problem drinking, I'm definitely not suggesting you start. What I am saying is maybe it's tea, maybe it's a visit with a loved one. Whatever it is, give yourself time and space for that attitude adjustment hour for self-care. It's going to pay you back 100-fold. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful day, and know that I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I behold the divinity in you. Have a great one. Go be the light that you are. Light up the world. Bye-bye.